Hey, it's Walt with One Fall WrestleCast. Thank you so much for joining us on a special Sunday edition. We got some fun stuff to talk about this week. William Regal. Is he done in AEW? Is he on his way back to WWE? Dave Meltzer would have you believe so. Also, CM Punk and Tony Khan cannot seem to come to an agreement on whether or not they are going to continue to do business. From what I hear, that's because of Tony Khan, not because of CM Punk. Can't wait to talk about that little nugget of information. And everybody knows the biggest rumor in the business right now is The Rock going to return at the Royal Rumble. We got all of that, plus a lot more, I'm assuming. So let's just get after it.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
What's up, dudes?
What's up, fellas?
Kind of cold, actually.
Yeah, you kind of look like Derek.
A little bit. It's because it's
cold.
It's cold. I put the flannel on.
I don't know what the deal is against flannels, man. Flannels.
I don't know. They're warm. It's like, and I don't have to pull it over my head like a hoodie.
Yeah, well, I bet yours doesn't smell like fucking day-old cigarette smell.
No, it doesn't.
And regret.
No, surely not.
Mine smells like The Office in here. So whatever that smells like.
The flannel never has regret on it. It's the other way around, you know. So.
He's wearing it to shade his regret.
That's right.
It's
like a security blanket.
It covers the regret up so that the regret can't be let out.
So, how about I took the family, right? We went out for a couple of hours of entertainment. You know, we went bowling, and they charge like $45 an hour to reserve the lanes now. It used to be like $2 a game.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and in the grand scheme of things, like when I first heard this, when the wife first told me about it, I was like, oh, that's not bad, you know. And then like I got there and we got into it, and then we ordered food. So all in, we were like $180 for 2 hours on a Sunday evening for the four of us to go enjoy some time together.
Could have had quite a steak for
yeah.
Could have had quite the steak dinner for that.
Oh shit. Fucking wild, man. Wild. Like, what's the world coming to when you can't even take your family out bowling for a couple of hours and spend less than 100? Like he was like, how long would you like it for? I said, I think 2 hours would be good. We could probably play 3 or 4 games in 2 hours. Like that'll be good, right? He's like 96.49. I'm like, huh?
Whoa. Like, buddy,
you better be re-oiling the lanes between games if I'm paying.
Hey, but I have my own shoes. Like I don't like what?
It's so those weekend prices particularly are murder. Do you remember?
Oh, look, we hit the big time. We got a bot.
We have a whole bot.
A whole bot.
My hot photo here. Oh, blocked. Oh,
that's no fun.
I mean,
what about the hot photo?
Could have let him go for a little while, you know, maybe get us a little bit of traffic going.
But hot photo here. I don't get it.
Now it's never going to show up.
Shit. So, wrestling, huh?
You had quite the lead in there. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do have a lot to talk about. A lot of things I can't wait to talk about, actually. So first and foremost, let's just go ahead and let's just jump right into this CM Punk thing, because I think that's going to take us right down the street that we need to be going down to just have a great little fucking show.
I don't want to live on the street anymore.
So I had
on the CM Punk street anymore.
You know, and here's the thing. I don't want to live on the CM Punk street anymore either. I feel like we got to come in here every week and we've got to continue to talk about this guy, right? And it's
Is he at least in the thumbnail this time?
No,
Just
he's not in the
thickens.
thumbnail this time. No, but The Rock is in the thumbnail this time.
Oh,
so,
okay. Well, I mean,
you know,
he's
that
important.
might get a little
could be good.
clicky for us.
He's a
But
star.
anyways, he is a star. But anyways, right? So report came out a couple of days ago that CM Punk is just like ready to just be done and move on to his next project. But he can't do that because Tony Khan is unwilling to come to terms with a CM Punk release. So all this does is this just further cements the things that we've been saying for the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months. Tony Khan is softer than puppy shit.
Actually, I would say that not releasing CM Punk is a little bit shows a little bit more balls.
It's a good business decision. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not going to release him and let him go to UFC and commentate.
Yeah.
Let him go to WWE possibly.
Yeah, yeah, he might be business. He might be doing good for the business. It may be a business fu, not a.
He's just trying to keep April around too. Because she gets things.
April, could you fetch my cellular device so that I could call Mr. Tony Khan, please?
Hey,
So
Mr.
is that really where we're at? Like you think that the WWE wants fucking anything to do with Phil Brooks? Like,
well,
I don't know
think
if they would, but I'd say some MMA or some other sort of.
Well, he's already doing
MMA.
He's already doing MMA stuff. The AEW contract doesn't prevent him from doing a MMA commentary. It would only prevent him from doing anything with the WWE. I think that what's most interesting about it, honestly, is just that it's how much of a ruthless Vince McMahon-esque move it is, right? How much more ruthless in a petty, underhanded way has Tony Khan been? Just think of Malachi Black, think of Buddy Matthews. This was, back in the day, it was like, oh, come on, WWE, let these guys out. Let them out of their hell so that they may go and become something. And, as people would get released and they'd show up in AEW, people would be like, oh, man, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. And, Tony Khan was hiring everybody, and they saw him as this big babyface good guy. But now, now he didn't release Malachi Black. He didn't release Buddy Matthews. He's going to make CM Punk sit out his entire contract. He doesn't have to answer his phone calls. He just can say, you're not let out of your contract, and that's the end of it.
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't answer his phone calls because he just fucking ghosts everybody.
Well, that's how you get not let out of your contract, by not being able to get talk with your boss.
I mean, that's also how you just don't get a new one either.
Hey, he's still getting paid out. It's not really a bad gig either way.
Yeah, payroll still works.
Get some money.
Yeah,
whatever.
Payroll still works. Yeah, and his you got torn labrum or something? A pec or something?
Tricep.
It was one of them muscles over there. Tricep. That's a lot of. I'm sure that he'll be out for a little while. So
Yeah. Allegedly.
Till he shows up at the Royal Rumble to fight his longtime rival, Cody Rhodes.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh no. Are you sure? Okay.
No.
I would tune in. That's for sure.
I mean, you're going to tune in anyways, Dickel.
Coming over to play.
Yeah.
We're going to make wings in big pots or something. Yeah. I don't know. I had it envisioned. Walt's going to do it. I'm just going to watch.
That's fair.
Walt, fetch us our wings.
Hey, bud. I'll punch you right in your mouth. Okay?
You'll still feed me wings.
April.
Right in your fucking mouth.
Please pass me the ranch dressing.
Who invited that guy? Motherfucker. Oh, look, the Elon Musk internet's not working.
Okay. Well, it got caught up. There's the hamster died somewhere between the moon and the stars, and they had to replace the. Hey, he's back.
Oh, there he is.
Hamster's been replaced. See how quickly that
fucking moon star hamsters, man. They're rough.
Please don't ban my Twitter account.
Please don't ban me on Twitter. No.
Sorry,
that's probably what just happened. That's what happens whenever you get banned.
Yeah, there's only a few things that'll get you banned from Twitter nowadays. One of them, however, seems to be making fun of Elon Musk.
So listen, I'm in a totally unwrestling related, right? So I'm in a group text with a bunch of my buddies from college, and one of them sends a text message the other day, just like completely unsolicited out of the blue, and it's like, Kanye West is going to go down in flames just like the meteor did with the dinosaurs. And then he sends a tweet right before Kanye got like busted off of Twitter again. Something about somebody cheating on somebody with he walked in on Kim with Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Like the motherfucker he's just going down swinging.
He really, I don't know what he's doing. He shouldn't be doing it, whatever it is. But he's certainly going down like the meteor and like the dinosaurs.
And Antonio Brown's not too far behind him either.
No, if he weren't Antonio Brown, he may have been in a worse predicament.
I think he's in a standoff with the police right now. By the way, like
he still is
going.
He was. We going on 3 days. I thought. Are we still? I thought it stopped, but he still wasn't in custody. Maybe it resumed. Maybe that's just my mistake. Is that it stopped? Maybe
I don't know, man. I saw it and I was just like, oh.
I didn't realize we're still going on now. Wow. What a world we live in. What a world.
CTE apparently is very real. Somehow I don't know how Kanye caught it, but. Antonio Brown sure did.
So Tom, I've got to ask. Okay, so did you watch AEW this week, bud?
I watched the first. Yeah, I think so. It's been so long. Yeah, I watched it this week. Why? Go ahead.
I mean,
I know you're gonna make fun of me because
you listen. I'm giving you the opportunity to discuss this in an open forum now.
I watched half of it. I half-ass watch AEW sometimes.
Okay. So, how'd you like the show?
Hold on, I'll tell you because I had thoughts.
I was hoping that you would.
I did because I think I live tweeted a lot of it to you, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Or just as I watched it on the.
Yeah.
All right.
So, for those of you that might not know, Tom has been on a very down, just angry with AEW recently, and
palpable anger.
Palpable,
I've just been really trying to gauge where he's at with this whole thing, and every week it just he goes further and further down the rabbit hole, but I just don't get it.
Every week I fall further and further from God.
I just don't get it. So I feel the need to have to challenge you on this every week moving forward, sir.
So for whatever reason, I'm looking for the match card so I can just go down. Hold on, one last try. It's for next week. Anyway,
it's in the chat, Tom.
Oh, there we go. Dynamite results. Okay. So let's go down the list here. There was Willow Nightingale versus Anna JAS. That was yuck. The TNT title match.
Whoa. I'm just going to go ahead and stop you right now.
Not yuck to them, yuck to their match.
No,
yuck.
I'm just going to go ahead and just stop the bus right now. Because I had believed that you would try to come in here and talk ill of this match, and I will not allow it to happen.
Why? Because it was better than the last two atrocities that Anna Jay had?
Let me just tell you what I saw. Okay. What I saw two very solid workers in the women's division that don't get enough fucking credit for the things that they accomplished inside of that ring on Wednesday night in a fucking spot, might I add, that has been reserved for the women's championship. But being as it's kind of like doing this little Britt Baker's trying to outshine Jamie Hayter thing where Jamie can't speak for herself and Dr. Britt's the mouthpiece backstage that takes 2 seconds every single week. I've got to feel like the chance that they had to go out there and fill a giant fucking amount of time on Dynamite, and they knocked it out of the park with one of the best women's matches that I have seen in AEW, period.
I mean, that's not the best part, but
period.
I mean, it was okay, fine. It was just okay, and you know what? Because that wasn't even the first match, but
I can't. Willow Nightingale had the fucking crowd in the palm of her hand. They were eating out of her hands. Okay, that was the only time that crowd on Wednesday got out of their fucking seats was for that match. Go back and watch it, because none of you guys saw that it was Anna Jay and Willow Nightingale, and you both went, "Well, I'm just gonna go ahead."
Anyway,
so you breezed through it and you didn't get the chance to enjoy it.
Oh, I definitely breezed through that.
Well, I'm gonna challenge you to go back and watch it again.
All right. I accept your challenge, and I'll probably hate it more. The actual first match was Dax Harwood versus Bryan Danielson. I mean, it was about as hard hit. It was what what you thought it would be. Very good match. Obviously, both those guys are really good. Samoa Joe versus AR Fox. Joe squashed this guy because this guy, as he should have. This guy was a chooch. But
he's not a chooch. He's actually one of the biggest free agent signings that was available.
Well, I mean, do they need more people?
I mean, like,
do they need another guy?
Do you think that maybe like the fact that they're willing to invest a little bit more into fucking Ring of Honor and what's going on over there doesn't necessitate a little bit more roster bloat of some developmental type folks?
A few more dudes. Okay. Maybe you're right. Okay.
Not any different I'm sure than Triple H bringing back Tegan Knox into a women's division that is crowded right now that doesn't have an identity.
And again, I'm sure a reasonably priced pickup for that division too. I mean, it's not a bad thing to pick up a cheap draft pick, you might as well say. Why not? Tegan Knox comes out looking completely different than she had in her last run.
I was gonna say she ran out. Had they not said it was Tegan Knox before she ran out, I wouldn't have had any idea. She went from like dark brown hair in a ponytail to like her hair was a lot of colors. And I'm like, that's definitely a different look. Plus different makeup than she would used to have, and it was like a different person came out.
Fresh painted coat.
Yes, exactly.
Nothing wrong with that.
Ricky Starks versus Arya Daivari was also like so fast. They had like 2 squashes in a row. Sorry, I didn't mean to move on with that.
Yeah, but there was a segment between there where the whole thing.
Oh yeah, that was the MJF segment.
Yeah, Regal's going on right here, so this is huge.
But we're gonna get to that, and that's like that's why
that would have been between those 2 matches.
It was. You're right. But I said
that's why it's fine. Okay, this is about the show.
And that is the aforementioned Anna JAS versus Tay Mello. With Tay Mello versus Willow Nightingale. I will point out that the Walt just put it over. However, it got 1 out of 4 stars. Or was that 2 and 2.25 stars from this little ratings thing here. I think that's 2.25. So this was kind of cool because Ruby came back at the end, and it was like nice to see Ruby. But like that's really the only thing I remember from the match. Really, is like the end of the match where Ruby comes back. So maybe that overshadowed it, and maybe that's why I ought to be challenged. But match 5 was the trio.
Listen, I'm not sitting here saying that it's a fucking 7-star classic, bro, but it's definitely the best match that has been had in the AEW's women division. Like, technically, like it was technically sound. It was timed very well. It looked like a great wrestling match.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this because you are
Go
just
watch it
using
again.
words that don't compute with these particular participants.
And normally I would agree with you.
Anyway, match 5 I didn't watch because it was the trios title best of 7, and
fantastic match.
I'm sure it was great, just like maybe their last one. Or
listen, this is
one
the
or two
third match that they've had, and it's been a different match every time. Like this one was a fucking absolute car crash. I loved every second of it.
Everybody was dead.
It was fun.
Wasn't a dance number.
It was a lot. I
just didn't watch it.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
I was good. I'd had enough, and I decided.
It's the main event. You could have
decided.
No.
Couldn't just give it a chance, huh? Couldn't help yourself.
Nah, I had stuff to do. It was time.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go back to it. I did.
Nice.
I did. I had to beat God of War. Beat God of War Ragnarok, so I finished that. It was good.
Oh, finished it?
Nice. Well, you missed out, bud. You missed out. So overall, it was a pretty solid show, right, Derek?
It was a really solid show. I mean,
it was a much better show than the last few weeks prior, just overall.
So
there were no parts where I was like, oh my god, this is fucking terrible. Like it wasn't nothing.
There was a lot of moving pieces, a lot of development to things. Really.
Yeah, a lot. Seems like maybe they're getting the hint and they're like trying to lay the foundations of some storylines and some feuds. And I appreciate that as long as they stick with it instead of just fucking forget about it.
So I'm going to circle back and I'm going to challenge you on something else because you kind of put over a match on Dynamite yourself and generally you're not a fan of this type of booking when AEW does it, but it was Dax Harwood versus Bryan Danielson.
It was a good match. I mean, it's real hard to like watch a really good match despite like not really getting why they're fighting, but to be like, you know what, I do want to see these guys fight. And for me, that's kind of enough. So I guess that's okay. But I feel like it should have been better if there was just more build to it, more heat, more something.
Yeah, but sometimes, man, you just want to watch two guys that you really enjoy watching. Just go
Sure.
after it. I mean, and that's kind of the premise of what AEW has been built on for the entirety of its existence, right? It's just not really lined up to be that great in some areas because sometimes you're like, oh, what's Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho look like? We've got to have swimming pools with mimosas in them. Okay, so not everything's a fucking hit, right? Like,
not a hit.
That's kind of like
a big swing and a miss there.
Kind of the premise of what AEW is and what AEW does, right? Like
lots of throwing shit at the wall.
But they're finally starting to find some stuff that's sticking.
Hopefully, I hope some of this stuff. Look, if you're gonna put out, if you're gonna put out a random match, and you wanna entice me to watch, put two guys I like in the ring together, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm okay with this, and then I will watch it with my eyeballs because, like. It's like, why do I care? Who do I root for? It's like, well, I don't really care who I root for because these guys are just really good at what they do. This actually wasn't as technical as I thought it was going to be. There was a lot more. It was a lot more hitting, not as much like wrestling. So I was I think expecting more wrestling, but still, I mean, I wasn't disappointed.
So Derek, overall, you thought the show was pretty good?
I did. Yeah. Again, okay. Yeah, it was really good.
Listen, I just feel like you guys have Derek, I'm especially been disappointed in you as of late because you've kind of just not seen any of this that is happening right before your eyes.
No, the thing with kind of that is, I agree. They've been putting on some nice shows. And they've been doing some good things. They've been keeping continuity.
They're trying.
But I'm not ready to praise them over 4 weeks of continuity when it's kind of been a thing for a minute, and that's all. I'm just having an open mind.
Yeah,
We've actually seen, like, what, last week we were complaining about the fact that where's this William Regal thing going, and the week before that we were speaking about the same thing. Finally, it's coming around. They're telling stories now instead of just
doing something with it.
So
doing something with it.
I'm just not trying to get my hopes up too high too fast. That's all. I'm still watching. I'm just
especially because there's this alternate reason why the William Regal stuff kind of came to a head.
Which apparently what had happened was those close to William Regal have said that he immediately regretted his decision to sign with AEW upon arrival due to maturity issues within management.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
if you look at everything in the big picture, these are kind of the things that we've been talking about.
Well, Walt, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. But hold on. If we're looking at the big picture, can you add this in here? The source it came from, was it not EC3? Or maybe it was someone EC3 told this information to EC3?
EC3 is linked to it in one way, shape, or form. But regardless, it's something to chew on.
I just think Meltzer shit.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say Dave Meltzer said he had a sort of a 1 year like choice in it, and 1 year would be up in February. So, he had the choice whether to re-sign and have the full 3-year deal or just be done in February. And it sounds like he's, for all intents and purposes, being written out of television.
Yep, sure would appear that way.
Is going to be.
When have you ever seen Regal do a stretcher job?
Never.
Well,
you mean that wasn't real? He doesn't really have a brain bleed, Walt. Oh, poor Bryan Danielson would lie to me.
I saw the blood coming out of his mouth. There's no way that man is alive.
I mean, he did look like a dead fucking body, bro. Like
they put the heavy white makeup on him.
They did. That's when they were down there so long. They were like pale. Yeah.
He was laying in a ring like this. But so I mean, despite any of that, Derek, and I mean, EC3 is absolutely attached to the news being broken, but like, there's got to be a reason that apparently he had this opt-out clause for the first year of his contract, and if he didn't fulfill the first year, if he fulfilled the first year, he was bound to the 3 years. It's legal mumbo jumbo, but he had an out, and there's got to be a reason that he wanted out, and I'm sure that a lot of that has to do with the regime change and how high regard Triple H holds William Regal. We all know it. We all heard about it. It's a legendary, thing about their relationship, right? Like, it's not a surprise to me that if he had that built into his contract, that he played a couple of big angles and, the short time that he was there, right? I mean, Blackpool Combat Club kind of fizzled out a little bit, but that was a big deal at the beginning, and then all of a sudden,
Wheeler Yuta's not going to be. He's not going to be the next Stone Cold. Oh man, I had my hopes up for nothing.
So,
even though it did kind of fizzle and it was perfect timing. Go ahead, finish up.
No, it was perfect timing, but like, there's a reason here, and he's 1,000,000% has to be going back, right? Like,
oh yeah,
and if he would have thought that the place was viable for him, he would have stayed, because he was doing similar role at AEW, just not that role, right? Everybody talked about how helpful he was and hands-on he was.
Sure. So didn't everybody say that about CM Punk as well?
No,
he was real hands-on. His door was open. Jax Harwood said he was the greatest guy ever.
Dax Harwood said that, but then some of the younger guys came out and said, he's kind of unapproachable.
He's
And maybe
a
that, yeah, and maybe that's a age gap thing. I don't know. Maybe it's tough to go to the guy who you watched wrestle as a 24, 25-year-old and go, "Hey, Mr. CM Punk, Mr. Phil Brooks, sir, can I use your patented? Can I try for a go to sleep and then have it reversed? No, that kind of shit. I don't know.
Well, I would say that William Regal was.
CM Punk clearly
absolutely
didn't like everybody because he buried the locker room and then said, "I work with," said beforehand, "I'm old, I'm hurt, I work with fucking children." Like that, he buried the whole locker room. So clearly, he wasn't always the sweetest guy backstage to then just come out and dig a hole and throw everybody in there. So I don't know, man. Like, it seems like they said that, and then like we saw with our own eyes what he thought of them in actuality, and those things don't line up.
Not at all. Not at all. So we know that Regal's coming back to WWE allegedly. So gonna go into a backstage role of some sort. I've got to feel like he's going to have more impact on the business in WWE than he would in a role in AEW, right? Like,
well, yeah. I mean, and he already had. I mean, we've already seen the impact he's had just with his NXT role and just his role in bringing up guys who are now huge stars, both for WWE and AEW. When Adam Cole comes, if his head if he ever is unconcussed ever again, but yeah, I mean, you can't.
AEW doctors have 100% success rate with concussions.
Oh, geez. They're gonna kill the man, aren't they? Anyway, so what are we talking about again?
We're talking about William Regal.
I know, yeah, William Regal. They're gonna. Now that speaking of their 100% on concussions, I mean, we saw them drag his bloody corpse out of there. Maybe he was concussed as well. Maybe they can bring him back to life.
Yeah, they're gonna reanimate him, ship him off to WWE,
unbleed his brains, ship him off to WWE. But yeah, I very much expect this time next year, or at some point when they need to use the War Games match again, we hear War Games. And even if like that's the only next time we see him on WWE TV, I think that'll be enough.
Oh, yeah, he signs a legend contract just to do that.
Just to do that. Every time there's a War Games between now and your death, you gotta come out and be like, War Games! Like, people, it'll just become a thing. Like, he'll just be this old man they wheel out there. And, like, people will know when they see him, they'll be like, War Games! And, like, it's going to be that.
Can you imagine him walking around the airport? People are screaming that at him and shit.
Even right.
Suck.
That'd be...
What a life.
What a... War Games! Jesus Christ!
Running somewhere.
So a couple other little things that happened. Did you guys see that Kevin Nash asked his Twitter followers to get his YouTube podcast page to 100,000 subscribers for his son?
Yeah, I saw it live happen. It was cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That was pretty. Unfortunately, I mean, maybe they'll get to Kevin Nash faster because he's Kevin Nash. My buddy got. But no, maybe not, because they did do this to other wrestlers too. My buddy got one when he hit 100,000 subscribers on like yo-yo stuff, and it didn't come for like 6.5 months. So like he hit it, and it was like 6 months later it showed up finally.
Well, I mean that's kind of got to be like a custom piece, right?
I guess.
Engrave the glass. I mean, I've never seen one in person.
They're all the same thing. They're all the same like trophy. You just engrave who's it's for and what and what it's for. But it's all the same otherwise. You just engrave the person's name. But anyway,
I didn't realize we were doing this for a trophy. I had no idea this was possible.
Yeah, we need like a lot, 999,000.
Yeah, we need a lot. We need. You know what we need?
Stop banning the bots, Walt.
We need
had
Derek
a good
to
thing
die.
going.
That's what we need.
You just want me to work backstage? I can just take on a backstage role.
No, that, no. Then we can ask for we. Never mind. That was a bad joke. Anywho, Dustin Rhodes come out and said 2023 is going to be his last year in the business.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say I blame
in the
man.
ring. In the ring.
Yeah, in the ring. I mean, I can't say I blame the man. I don't know how many more bumps you want to take in your what is he? Mid 50s, late 50s? Is he what, 57?
Mid 50s, I think.
Yeah,
mid
late 50s. So I don't know how many more bumps you want to be taking. This deep into the game.
Hey, bro,
Yeah.
I don't even want to take the bump from that I take whenever I move from the standing position to the seated position on the couch. I couldn't imagine. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, doing that, having a giant-sized human being throw you onto the ground with some oomph to make sure it looks real.
sit down in this chair whenever we get ready to record, and it's like, yeah, okay.
Terrible.
I'm taking a bump, bro. You know what I mean? No, but I think that he's probably one of the most underrated talents of all time, right? Like, never
That's 'cause
really
it was
got
so
his
stop
chance.
start. It's because of too much
Debauchery.
a little bit too much debauchery. Kept getting him in trouble every time he'd be on a fun little run, and then some debauchery, or he was just Goldust, which is insane character, and then just like sometimes it's like, all right, we gotta back off the Goldust a little bit. And I feel like Vince McMahon had those moments where it was like Goldust was getting more and more time every week, and then at some point he would be like one too many times for Vince, and Vince would be like, all right, we gotta back off the Goldust. It's too much Goldust for me. Just turn it. We're at like 10. I need it down to like a 3. And that would kill his momentum. And whatever momentum we were on, that would kill it. Or he'd come out in a gag ball or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, dude, that shit when he was the artist formerly known as Goldust was fucking wild, bro.
Wild.
It was a wild time in Dustin Reynolds' life.
That was wild. It was all of that. The thing about it is you can remember all the Goldust stuff because it was just like, I don't know that I've ever seen anything on television like that. Certainly not before, but definitely not after either.
You go back and watch that stuff, man. Now, like as a full-grown human, and you understand what that is. That's like that shit's ahead of its time.
Oh my god, it was so next level that it just was. It's to this day, it's like, I don't know if we were desensitized during the 90s or whatever, but it was still like a kind of ahead of its time. Like even today, it's like a little, whoo, okay, buddy, a little much there, a lot going on. Wasn't ready for that. But yeah, that good for him though. I mean, hopefully he can, retire and still, be able to physically, enjoy his retirement. And I'm sure he'll be a coach or whatever too. So it's not like he just won't be going out there cutting himself wide open and getting 30 gallons of his own blood everywhere else.
Derek, what's the matter, bud?
Nothing. What?
I mean, is there something you want to talk about tonight?
This is no funny.
Because I mean, you've not really had much to say this evening. Like, look a little like a sad puppy up there.
Oh, I'm good. I was just reading.
Huh? Is there something that you would like to discuss with me and Tom about wrestling this week?
Not that I'm aware of.
He was just reading.
Huh?
I don't know. Does that sound like a lie? Why did that sound like a lie when it came out? I
don't know how to share this.
I was just reading. That's how he said it. I was just reading. Not I was. I is just reading. Were you? Were you reading to your paw?
Sometimes as a country ass comes out. I hate it.
No, but the way you said it because you were reading, it wasn't like I was fishing. No, you were like I was reading.
Aren't you proud I can read?
That was where I was going with that. Except I knew you could read. Except, but you know.
So there's nothing then. Nothing, because I mean, generally there's some topic that you're excited about every week, and you just don't.
No, man. SmackDown was real good. That was awesome. Ruby Soho came back. I'm not too pumped about that. SmackDown was really good.
Why do you hate Ruby?
I don't like Ruby. She don't do nothing. I hated her in what was it?
She's
the
one of the best. Squad. She's one of the best ragdoll wrestlers with like 2 pretty cool finishing moves.
Yeah, but she gets her ass kicked a lot, and
that's the point. That's what she's good at. I mean, she's great at getting people over.
That's all. It's nothing personal. It's not like I think she's a shitty human being like Sasha Banks or anything.
Oh,
thought we were gonna get through this without a. You asked
him in there.
You asked him if he wanted. This is your fault, Walt.
You asked
him, and now it's like Sasha Banks is a shitty human being.
What's
wrestling opinion for the.
What's he gonna do when she's number 3 at the Royal Rumble? Like, and then wins.
Turn it off and go smoke a cigarette.
She'll still be in when you get back.
Yeah, probably.
And aren't you watching with us? You can't turn it off.
There's
that's right.
It off.
All right, well, I'm gonna go through the sliding glass door, and then we'll smoke a cigarette.
So, with that, rumors really ramping up this week that The Rock is due for a Royal Rumble return.
And they're gonna let him win. Maybe they're talking about it.
Talking about letting him win. I mean, I think that this has got to be the way that it has to happen, right? Like,
but then again, now we're wasting yet another Royal Rumble for an old guy. I mean, not to take anything to get off of when it happened to Edge, it was cool because Edge is still around and like is regularly in programs. But then it happened. So it happened with Edge, and then it happened with Brock the year after that. So it was like 2 older guys come back just to position one of them easily for WrestleMania. And now to do it a 3rd year in a row, especially, and this time with The Rock, because we want to talk about mega part-timers. We haven't seen The Rock in how long? 4 years, 5 years, something like that?
Yeah.
It's been a while. So, we're talking about it's not even like a John Cena part-timer. It's like almost,
1 run.
Yeah.
A 1 run and done. Like, that's what this is.
Yeah. Like, this will be this will be a January through whatever. It's WrestleMania in March this year?
I think it's the first weekend in April.
Okay, so April. Last year fell into March. So yeah, it'll be that, like that 3 month, not quite even 2.4 months run. And to waste yet another Royal Rumble to do something like that, I think is unfair to us as fans, just because they've done it already.
Okay, but here's my argument to that, right? So we've all been clamoring for this head of the table storyline to culminate at WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles with The Rock. We've all fantasy booked this. Everybody with a wrestling podcast or a microphone or a wrestling handle on Twitter has been calling for this to happen at WrestleMania 39. And we're getting teased that it might actually happen. Who's to say that they don't use WrestleMania to split up the titles and have Roman lose on consecutive nights to 2 different people, or have Roman lose to Cody on Saturday and beat The Rock on Sunday?
I mean, he's almost got to beat The Rock, right? If you come back and you're The Rock, you're going to put The Rock over at 50-some years old?
Well, that's actually really good booking. Like, I
See,
mean, seriously, that would make sense because then he still gets his comeuppance by taking over as the head of the family within the Inoue family or whatever you want to say.
I don't know why he was
Whatever.
close though.
And then we still drop a title to Cody because you know Cody's coming out with something.
Do they both go over at the same time? Maybe that's does both Cody and The Rock go over at the same time, but their feet touch at the same time?
Or
They
just
try that.
don't even put the Rock in the Royal Rumble and just say, hey, the winner of the Royal Rumble gets a shot at night 1 of WrestleMania for the WWE Championship, and the Rock will have a shot at the Universal Championship on night 2. It's just that simple.
Yeah. I mean, if they're going to break up the belts, I think that's the way to do it too. And then Roman could continue to have the longest title reign ever. He would just lose the WWE Championship,
Right.
So it could go back to Raw. So he only had to show up on Fridays.
But a lot of people are like trying to, kind of look at the fact that you're The Rock and you're being asked to come back for the storyline, and you've not been in a WWE ring in 6, 7, whatever odd years, right? And then you have to lose. You're going to ask The Rock to lose? What's that do to his legacy?
Probably not much.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Not at all. I don't think it hurts it at all.
I don't think it hurts it at all. I think
it props it up even more, and it props Roman up too.
Yeah, and I mean,
this is what he should be coming back and doing.
That's what he should be doing. Is
not putting over young talent, because I wouldn't say Roman's a young talent. Obviously, he's made his mark in the past 2 years. It's been amazing. This run he's been on, but it's time for Rock to come back, put over his brother cousin, whatever he is.
Sort of cousin. Or are they cousins? Anyway, I was trying to think of how that, but it's The Rock's like over here under Maya Villa, and it's way crazy if you look at it. It's like they would call each other cousins, but like they're
just easy
like,
that way.
Maybe like a uncle twice removed or something.
You know what's wild? And this is no bullshit. So like, I feel like we talk about the NOI family tree so much, and here's why I say that, because I have literally bookmarked at the top of my browser and the NOI family tree. So like, we must look at this an awful lot.
We have to reference it. We have to reference it pretty often because there's so many relevant wrestlers in that tree that it's just ridiculous. The amount of just live like this goes back like 100 years of wrestlers. The amount of them that are just current day in wrestling and in WWE or just in wrestling period, because there's other Fatus and other guys who are in other promotions and like New Japan and stuff. But it's just we must reference it so often.
So, but it is right there, looking at it right now. So that's kind of funny. But listen, I got to think that, Tom, this is kind of a similar approach that they took with Logan Paul, right? Like, you go big time.
Yeah. I mean, The Rock versus Roman Reigns it's big money, and that's how do you get to the main event of WrestleMania? You win the Royal Rumble. I get it. I understand. But the problem with that is that it's like, okay, well, WrestleMania now has to be that big money match. It's more of a like Tyson versus Ali type of thing. It's one of those kind of like it has to be like these two pillars. It can't just be this underdog guy who wins the Royal Rumble because they don't want to book that match anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And that wastes the Rumble, because then the Rumble's predictable. It's like, all right, which big money guy is going to pull this out? Are we going to see The Rock do it? We're going to see Stone Cold do it. We're going to see Bad Bunny do it. Something like, is Logan Paul going to finally do it? Because they're going to want to, if Logan Paul continues to be a recurring character, for the big money stuff, they're eventually going to want to put him over in a Royal Rumble. So,
yeah,
That's funny.
That's good, clean fun right there.
But
Pal.
like, so that it's, I guess that's really a good discussion point is what do you guys think about, like, does it ruin the Rumble because all they ever want to book are these like huge matches? So like if it's not Edge versus Roman or Brock versus Roman or The Rock versus Roman, like is Sami Zayn versus Roman, as much as we'd be interested in that storyline, where that goes and how we get to that at WrestleMania and all of that build for us, is that the WrestleMania main event? Or is that like just the main event? Because WrestleMania, remember, they try to pull more eyeballs than actually watch the product.
Right.
But for, regular old guys like us who regularly watch the product, they know we'll be back on Monday. And when that storyline finishes up on maybe it's Sammy who, helps Roman lose the first title to Cody. And, maybe that's what triggers it. So, but at that point, we're not doing Sammy versus Roman at WrestleMania. It's like
Right.
the Raw after WrestleMania is when that all kicks off. So it's like, you almost have to like sweep the Rumble under the rug. You almost have to, and then sweep WrestleMania too before you can get into any like actual good meaty storyline, because, well, now they just have to build that WrestleMania main event type of thing that goes down on, do you remember, WrestleMania, whatever, and The Rock versus that, like that's what you remember, and that's what they're trying to do. It's like WrestleMania 3.
Yeah, but like I think it cheapens the Rumble a little bit, right?
For
like,
sure.
I think Edge winning when he came back in his second Rumble in position, I think that was a feel-good moment, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought at the time too.
Nobody saw that coming. But
No.
then you got Brock Lesnar, like you said, coming in at number 29 or 30, whatever it was, and just decimating everybody.
Just
and like
house.
We knew that match had to happen.
Yeah.
So like, how did we get there? Because there was some fucky ducky shit with Bobby Lashley, if you remember. And like, so how do we get there? Well, this is how we get there. And it was an unfortunate side effect that the Rumble got used as a tool to get us to the match that we needed to get to.
Right, but it was after seeing Edge do it, and it was like, okay, cool. Because you're right, nobody expected that. Then it happened with Brock, and we're like, okay, that's kind of like you just wasted the Rumble, like you just said. But now, if they do it a third time with The Rock, it's like, is the Rumble just bullshit now to get whatever?
Yeah. I mean, and the Royal Rumble is one of my favorite events of the year.
Right?
So like,
it's the best.
To cheapen it's no bueno for me. But I'm not as mad about the whole Brock Lesnar thing, I don't think, because there wasn't anybody in that time 2 years ago that was ready to be in that spotlight with Roman Reigns at the beginning of that.
And I agree, but it's one of those things where it was like we knew it was happening before it happened, like way before it happened.
That's bad booking if we're going in there and saying no one's ready to come into this spot other than Brock Lesnar, and we have to use that as like an emergency, in case of emergency, break glass and bring in Brock Lesnar.
They broke the Brock Lesnar glass.
They booked themselves into a corner, and they had to
poured water on him, and he grew.
It's not that they booked themselves. It's not that they booked themselves into a corner, bro. Vince McMahon was running shit then, and like we weren't on this whole build of like getting new people in place, right? So the Rumble might be used as a tool this year to get The Rock into that spot. I don't know, but maybe we'll get a little bit of uncertainty moving forward under Triple H, because like that is a big deal. But he's talking about bringing King of the Ring back, which has also been used as that platform. So like, what do we do? You know what I'm saying? But I know one thing: I don't want the Royal Rumble to be cheapened by predictable bullshit finishes, like Brock Lesnar coming out at number 30 and fucking decimate motherfuckers. Don't cheapen the Rumble. I love the Rumble.
I mean, that's exactly it. And if the same thing happens with The Rock, even if The Rock has, this big, long Iron Man-esque run in does anybody believe it? Does anybody care? I mean, lately he's been, the kids don't know him as The Rock. I mean, they do, but like they ask him all the time. Now this has become this thing. Why do they call you The Rock? And it's like, what? What do you mean, why do they call you? How do you not know the answer? But now it's like there are people that don't know why Dwayne The Rock Johnson is The Rock. It's insane. I know, but I've seen it.
Well,
He's
I
seen
mean,
it.
and
Seen
think
it.
about what that WrestleMania main event between the two of them would do because of that fact right there.
I mean, yeah, I agree. It's just, I don't know, man. I just, but again, but then it's cheap. But like, why we gotta do this to the Rumble? Like, why is the Rumble got to be that way? Because and it's like, when when there were two belts, it made more sense. So maybe, yeah, maybe you're right, Walt. If they actually split it, because Roman was saying he wants to work both nights. I don't know if that means they resplit the belts or what, but I mean, it seems like they're leaning back to that, right?
It would appear.
I mean, they almost got to put a belt back, especially if Roman's going to continue to be as part time as he is. They almost got to put a belt back on Raw. They can't just send like the Usos and Solo Sikoa over there as like the Monday Night Raw belt personified. It's like, well, you don't get the belt or a champion, but you get us. Hey,
Yeah, well, they get 4 belts because they're both toting 2 championships.
yeah, for sure. No, I know, but you don't get like the heavyweight title belt.
No,
But
but
it is-
that's what the United States Championships are for.
But what about the Intercontinental on SmackDown too? There's just a
I
lot
mean,
more belts. There's a
It's
lot
still
of belts.
It's still getting a little bit of spotlight.
So many belts on SmackDown. If you think about it, SmackDown is now is if it wasn't for the fact that it was all the same guys that had all the belts, there's a lot of belts on SmackDown for for what's a 2-hour show. They're getting a little ridiculous with it. Hey, maybe you ought to check that. Maybe they shouldn't resplit any of these belts now that I think about it out loud. Yeah, I don't know. I think that working 2 nights is good, but again, like you said, cheapening the Rumble is I'm not a fan, and we'll criticize it during that as we watch it live and eat wings.
Yes, and other delicious food.
We'll get. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking at 29? I'll be like, no, you mother, go get it back.
We can only hope.
So I don't know. We're gonna be watching. We're gonna be watching. Hey, so does anybody have anything pressing they would like to discuss before we roll into match of the week?
What if Vince McMahon is on? It comes to WrestleMania this year. Did you see that? There was like a something floating around the internet this week that was like Vince McMahon might be at WrestleMania this year, and I think the article like phrased it as like, should he be? So
I mean, he's probably allowed.
I would think he would be allowed. I would think it would be cool just to like have him like sit in the like in a box somewhere.
Yeah.
Like in a
like
press
fake
box.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, like fake Bill Clinton. Have him sit in a press box somewhere.
Have him comfortable.
He could wave to all the people from the press.
Didn't they do fake Obama too?
Yeah. They did. And that's. I think it was just people in the masks, right? Just waving.
No, Bill Clinton. The Bill Clinton was an impersonator.
Oh, okay, that's funny.
I have to. Funny. It might have been WrestleMania 10.
Would have been right about that time, huh? Yeah,
it might have been WrestleMania. Maybe it was the Royal Rumble before 10, but it was definitely in that year. Anywho, yeah, man. I mean, I think that if Vince fucking comes to WrestleMania, yeah, why not? Like, what's he gonna do? He's not gonna inject himself into the creative for the night. I mean, he might have a couple conversations with Triple H, but I mean, at that point in time, Triple H has got to be like, "Hey, Bod, you don't run shit anymore. I do." So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that'd be like if
I would imagine that Triple H talks to Vince, and I would say at least weekly.
I'm sure he at least gives him what do you think about this, Pops?
I mean, I don't think that they have this like strained relationship either as to whether or not.
No, I'm not trying to imply that at all.
No, yeah, not that I'm saying that that I don't know that anybody would think that Vince would like wreck the show and decide to rip it up and be like, all right, here's what we're doing, pal. Day of. I don't think that would fly. But just to have him in a press box or something, I kind of thought about it. I was like, that would be pretty cool. He has no idea. Anyway,
he's got to do the fish routine.
Oh, the fish routine. The whole fish routine. We're gonna get it live.
No, we're not, because
that's right. Because the internet, the Elon Musk internet. Man, does this guy do anything right? Can't do Twitter. Teslas fall apart when you slam the door too hard. The internet doesn't work.
Hey,
do it again.
Maybe that's why.
Run away! Run away!
What are you, Monty Python and the Holy Grail there? Run away!
I'll tell you what, bud. At least you made a cute kid, because you sure are fucking ugly.
She did good.
All right, well,
my wife.
Got anything else? If not, we're gonna roll into match of the week and get the fuck out of here.
Let's do it, boys.
Match of the week, Tom. What you got?
Ooh. Trying not to put this over so hard earlier, but it was definitely Bryan Danielson versus Dax Harwood. It was really fun. And it was one of those, like, I didn't expect them to slap the shit out of each other, and they did. And for whatever reason, I like those matches.
They beat the fuck out of each other, bro.
Yeah, they really did. Danielson's chest was like beat red. It was like bleeding. And I was like, man, I don't know. And it's, I'm not the biggest fan of they didn't have to blade or anything, but it was like, it was a hard hitting match without like somebody like just excessively blading. So
right.
Yeah, I appreciated that, and that's why that was my match of the week.
Man, it's crazy though, because like it's exactly the type of match that you always complain about. Is just like one that's like just thrown together just for the sake of being thrown together.
Well, I don't like the booking, but I know, but like it was a good match, and that was part of the like that's how they got me to tune in, and that's why I know it's a good match, because it didn't have much build. It didn't really have. There was maybe a throwback in there that you could kind of sort of get at, but I don't think that there was much build at all. And, but they were just like, hey, do you want to watch these guys? These guys who are really good at wrestling, you want to watch them wrestle? And it was like, yeah, I do. Yeah. I turned it on, and then I watched it, and I was happy that I did that, especially because it was the first match. I was like, oh, they're being nice to me today. This is why I turned the TV on in the first place. I watched it, and it was good. So that was it.
See, you should have continued watching it. You'd have enjoyed it more.
Well, I watched most of the rest of everything else.
Most of it. Not enough.
It's almost like they're finally getting their shit together so that they can.
I hope
lure back the fickle little fans like Tom.
Lure me back. I'm fickle, please. I invite that. Why would I not invite that with open arms? Invite that. Cater to me. Cater to me. They're already kind of catering to me by letting Samoa Joe squash motherfuckers.
Yeah, and he's holding.
That was all. Right, like I said, I love Samoa Joe, so I'm just going to be biased and say that I think that that's the right call. In fact, if they put the AEW championship on Samoa Joe, what's the next thing? Winter Falls or something like that?
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming, yeah. If they could put the AEW championship on Samoa Joe at that, I'd be good with that. As pissed off as everybody would be about MJF and all that, and I'd be totally good with it.
Well, that's not going to happen because MJF
I know.
is defending against Ricky Starks, so there's that.
Ricky Starks has to take his lumps.
I don't know, bud. It's just funny to me.
It kind of sucks that they're leading with a match like that. Like, he's not going to win. There's no chance.
Yeah, that's the
Dumb.
point, bro.
That's
Yeah,
dumb.
that's how their
the
AEW.
point.
That's how the AEW championship works. It's like, well, we're gonna put together a good feud that people like, but then in your head you're like, oh, he just got. They're not gonna let MJF. They're not gonna let him beat MJF right now. Like,
No.
we can't just hot potato the title like that. That's their, and you can see it plain as day. And it's so that's what's gonna happen. So this is almost a non-match.
Yeah. Derek, what's your match of the week, bud?
Well, match of the week is from SmackDown, actually. SmackDown. Went with, how about Sami Zayn and Sheamus, which I didn't expect. That was kind of out of nowhere. I mean, it's not because they've been the Brawling Brutes and the Bloodline, but I didn't actually expect to see Sheamus go up against Sami. I would expect more Butch
I kind of enjoy that, actually.
Yeah, it was also quite the hard-hitting match, I would say. You know, they put on a good show, and it was no flippy bullshit that, you know, everybody seems to hate in the group. So I figured I'd go with something that maybe would be a little more accessible.
It was really good.
So you small-minded fans here.
Both that and the main event, which was what Ricochet versus.
Oh, so you like it when WWE does it?
No. I'm just trying to say that was the Flippy Doo match.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
I was pretty. As far as those go, those were better than any. The one they had was better than any of those super Flippy Doo ones.
Listen, I've been saying this for a long time, and I know that you both have come around on this recently, but I've been saying this for a long time. Santos Escobar is a fucking star,
and with I love that he's still with what's her name? Yeah,
Zelina Vega.
Zelina Vega. I love because Zelina Vega's out there cutting, just on sitting on commentary, just cutting promos that are like just killer, just at one after the other, and it's just like. And with the action that's going on in the ring at the same time, you're just like, who thought up this combination? And somebody buy that man a cheeseburger, because good Lord, is it a good idea? So yeah, that was good too. But that's what I was getting at, because that was the other bookend of the good matches on SmackDown. Walt?
My match of the week. For the third week in a row, the Elite versus Death Triangle.
I hope he turns it up to 7.
Come on. Hey, you made your bed. You got to jump on it now. Do a backflip.
Listen. I love the fact that they've had 3 matches and everybody's been like, but they've been 3 different matches and they've all been fun. They've all been fun to watch. I've enjoyed them all thoroughly. I can't wait to see the other 4. I can't wait to see if they can continue to give me a different match. This match on Wednesday was a fucking car crash. I loved it.
There was way less dancing and there was much more just getting thrown about.
Like, they were just beating the fuck out of each other, inside, outside, all around. I enjoyed that. That needed this little element. And Tom, nobody bled. It was amazing.
They've been cutting down. To be fair to AEW in that regard, they've really dialed that back. Even like guys like Moxley have dialed that back a little bit in the last month or so. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that came from TNT though. I think we might have spoken about that one week that it did. I can't remember if that was what happened or just we were discussing it possibly.
I think it was language, but blood and language is probably.
They were saying shit too much.
Yeah, they sure were. They sure were.
But
hey,
too many. I enjoyed the match thoroughly, and I'm not ashamed of the fact that it was my match of the week for the 3rd week in a row. I also really enjoyed Ricochet versus Santos Escobar. Thought it was a fantastic little match. I really enjoyed Sheamus versus Sami Zayn. Beat the hell out of each other. I enjoyed Dax versus Daniel Bryanson. Did it again.
Brian Danielson.
That's fine.
Brian Danielson. Like,
I can't remember at this point which one it's supposed to be.
I mean,
Brian Danielson. It's supposed to be Brian Danielson right now. But yeah, no, I've done that before too. I'm like, Daniel Bryan. No,
I
wait.
do it
Now,
every single time.
now who is he really? It's not. I'm not a smart enough man to keep that. Changing that back.
Listen,
I'm
all
not
I'm
a
saying-
smart man.
All I'm saying is there's a lot of good wrestling on TV this past week, and you're a fool if you didn't enjoy everything that was presented to you. Make sure that you check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_fall WC. That's ONE. Hey, if you're hanging out with us right now, tomorrow, anytime, anywhere, we appreciate you. With all that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast. Hey, we got to make sure that we check out